Hey loves. Some insights that I wanted to speak to and share around emotions, specifically rage, is that it's not true that you need, like, for example, in relation to this event on Saturday, you don't need to be in an angry mood to be available for this event or to come on Saturday. And you also don't need to be, even in a very specific space, because whatever emotion or energy that you're feeling on Saturday is going to be relevant to the event. And it's not about forcing yourself or faking anything. It's essentially being present with anything that is alive for you. And if that means on Saturday you feel pleasure and joy and happiness at a Sacred Rage event, then yes, please be in that. The same way that I like to speak to sexuality and orgasm is you don't need to pressure yourself or push yourself to anything, and you can let go of that goal so that this will allow you to be more in the experience and be more in the truth of what this event really has to offer you, and to allow yourself to open up the conversation to rage as a consciousness, rage as an emotion that exists and comes and goes. Maybe you're super excited to release some pent-up rage, but I just want to remind you that you don't have to hold on to it. You can really trust that you're going to be able to speak to your experience in truth in the moment of the event, but you don't have to hold on to a feeling of rage to be there, and you may not feel rage at all, and just trust that you're going to experience and tap into something that is so perfect and so true for you. And by letting go and being present with what is on Saturday is really going to create space for you to receive whatever it is that you're meant to receive. And I really invite you and encourage you to allow yourself to be in the energy and the emotions that you are in. I'm currently bleeding, and this is a very gentle energy, and I'm going to be just as powerful and just as showing up in whatever truth it is on Saturday, and how my facilitation wants to be shared, and that is perfect. And I encourage you to lean into that with your own process and your own experience. And as well, I want to speak to how I facilitate and how I teach and tap into the shadow sides, and how I touch in with emotions like rage and grief and sadness. Specifically, my flavor is me having these, so we're going to be going through rituals to touch and meet those parts and be witnessed in those parts by the group, and it's going to be super powerful. And in between all of that, I will be guiding what I call erotic nervous system regulation, and these are tools that I use with myself daily and with all of my clients, and how I was trained and taught to weave in pleasure and ease and touch and breath and relaxation into these more potent emotions and feelings and releases. So I want to share that with you to allow you to feel that you'll be supported and held in joy and love and pleasure, as well as meeting all of the emotions and meeting rage and power. Sometimes there's this idea that things that are more challenging only have to be challenging, but I do not separate pleasure and joy and love from all of that. I believe that they're deeply connected, and by connecting the shadow with the light, you could say, or just bringing everything into wholeness. You know, I find I see people crying one second and laughing the next, and it's so nourishing to embrace that. And you know, you may not have heard of like something called a crygasm, you know, like pleasure and emotions don't need to be separate, and to be honest, they shouldn't be separate, because that is what creates the juiciness in life and the healing in motion that allows us to take up more space and meet these parts of ourselves with a more integrated approach. So I wanted to share all of that with you to support you to receive the medicine on Saturday, and to meet yourself where you're at, and to know that you're going to be held, and it's going to be powerful and exciting, and you're going to walk away with a new relationship that feels nourishing and empowered around your rage, around your grief, around any shadow selves that are ready to be met, as well as you're going to have fun, and it's going to feel good, and all the things. And yeah, so I love you, and I'll see you all soon.